It's high time I go over every single Fallout 3 DLC at level 1, on the highest difficulty and without bringing any weapons or armor. And on top, I'm gonna try and 100% them as well, collectible and lore included. Can you beat Fallout 3's Operation Anchorage at level 1? A tickle to the wife, no wait. An implosion to the mother, huh? After wearing my mother as a hat, and thanking the entire universe for the blessing of not remembering it, and as Liam Neeson becomes a single dad, the tale of Alaskisha begins!
That's a good name, don't you think?
His words, not mine. I gave the default preset a custom blonde haircut, even though we're still a bebe, and then it's just bad news after bad news. We're gonna look a lot like our dad, and mom went on to buy milk at the big sleep. 1 year later, we've learned to walk, and we're special, with 9 in endurance and intelligence, 7 in agility and luck, 6 strength, and 1 in both perception and charisma. 9 years go by, Amara should have been a companion. Butch is an idiot. A Mr. Handy named Andy ruined my birthday cake, and a bitch gifted me a horrible poem. If I had a penny for every time a 10-year-old orphan fights an animal in a video game, I'd have at least 2. And a couple BB gun pellets on a rat roach later, and Jonas thought it would be cool to flashbang me. That came out wrong. But that's fine, cause 6 years later, so did the GOAT's results. Mr. Broch lets us cheat the results, and so I tagged energy weapons, small guns, and speech. Lastly, 3 years go by. Amara is in a panic after waking us up. Dad went to get some milk as well. And the overseer, Amara's father, killed Jonas. She thinks that his men are coming for us next, and I am hellbent on not using weapons in the vault. But I grabbed my birthday gifts, the medics, the 10 steam packs, the melee skill magazine, and we've gotta get the fuck out of here. Vault security is trying to spank me. At least they waited until I was 19, and then comes Butch.
You gotta help me! My mom's trapped in there with the rat roaches!
We gotta help him. His drunk mother's trapped in there with the rat roaches. Just tell her to pretend they are vodka mates. One guy is chasing me. I didn't even check Jonas. But I went through the first lock picking and hacking minigames. It's the position the letters are in, so with both sans and bands having a 4 out of 5, it was just the first letter that I had to get right. The Overseer's tunnel leads to the vault's entrance. I opened the door, Amara is back, and she doesn't want to come with. I would have felt bad for not helping her, but to be honest, I forgot. I still wouldn't have helped her, it's just, it didn't even come to mind. One of the guards hit me with the baton, and I made it out. I dropped all of my weapons and armor, read the Grognak the Barbarian magazine for an astonishing +1 to my melee skill, and the game leveled me up, which, well, that ruins the premise a little bit, but to be fair, Intelligence 1 wouldn't have changed anything. This is just Fallout 3's way of finishing its tutorial, and you cannot go to any DLC at level 1. Now we know, but we can go at level 2, so I put the points into speech, took the Black Widow perk, waited for the prompts to show up, along with the quest and the map marker, and so the journey begins. I don't know the Capital Wastelands map nowhere near as well as I do the Mojave, the Commonwealth, or Skyrim's, but that's just what happens when you don't have a game growing up. I have 100%ed Fallout 3 once before, and it's Fallout. I'll be fine. The map marker led me through the highway, or overpass, I don't know man. I'm fluent, but I'm not native, and this shit's a bit technical from the outside looking in. On the way I heard some growling, but this time I've learned my lesson. No look backsies. I made it to some buildings, saw some raiders, they helped me cosplay a Swiss cheese. Twice, and I made it. First try. I got to Bailey's Crossroads Metro. We're in the DLC, but to actually meet the first people I gotta go through a couple of ghouls. I wanted to test my luck. Started handing out bitch slaps left and right, and I expected worse. On the other side, I can hear the Outcasts firing their weapons. Speaking of which, I've got none.
You got a death wish? Walking through a war zone? Listen, local. If you want to be of use, help us clear the mutants between here and our base camp. If not, stay the hell out of our way.
That's the plan. I'll stay out of their way, pick up whatever weapons the super mutants drop just in case I gotta defend myself, but 95% of Operation Anchorage is a simulation. It's not like I would have been able to bring anything with me either way, I just still gotta get there though. As Defender Moral and the others cleared every single enemy, I started collecting hunting rifles like a crackhead collecting STDs. Call me Ash Ketchum, cause I'm just gonna Pikachu. The centaurs look disgusting. I love horror design, and they really cleared every single enemy. So far, this has been a walking simulator, but it's one where I found some sexy sleepwear along the way.
Alright, local, mind explaining what you're doing here?
Morrill notices the Pip-Boy, and it seems like we can be of use. He asks us to go down the elevator and to talk to Protector McGraw. So, that's what I did. And while we had a pretty good first impression of these guys, the second was to overhear them ask why the hell they wouldn't just rehome this orphan 6 feet under and take the Pip-Boy for themselves. But we also hear the explanation. It's cause McGraw said so. One guy is not too happy, the other is just following orders. You can hear the tension. They are divided. Defender Sibley orders us to keep our weapons holstered, to shut up, and to walk alongside him. I did explore, even though it was meaningless. But it was funny to see McGraw scold Sibley for letting me wander. Sibley questions the decision, but ultimately respects it, and they don't just need the Pip-Boy, they need someone that knows how to use it. And once we see what's at stake, well, let's just say that if things go wrong for me, they get to keep the Pip-Boy. That's without risking one of their men's lives. There is high-value technology in the armory, but that's sealed by a blast door. The only way to open it is by using the Pip-Boy after completing the facility's VR simulation. That program simulates the invasion of Alaska by Chinese Communist forces. And that is when reality hits like a brick. It's also why Morrill and McGraw don't much care whether or not outsiders lend a hand on this one. They really have got nothing to lose. If we die in the simulation, we die in real life. Except this is a video game and we can save. It's not like we're gonna have to do this under permadeath. But it does explain the situation, and to be fair to McGraw, he doesn't force us to do it. We are free to leave. Sibley escorts us to another room and introduces us to Specialist Olin, but not without some banter. It sounds like they already got someone into the simulation and they are no longer around to tell that story. I was given a neural interface suit, put it on, and we're in.
Hey, wake up. Come on, snap out of it. That was a hell of a nasty fall you took. When your chute bunched up like that, I thought you were a goner.
Sergeant Benjamin Montgomery says that we still have our gear, but that is referring to the program. It covers power armor training, we're fully suited up in winterized power armor, and we also got a silenced 10mm pistol and a trench knife. He says that we'll meet at the rendezvous point. We're gonna blow the artillery guns to hell and that I should watch out, cause the Reds here do not take prisoners. And then I forgot to press record, so I had to do the first mission all over again. It happens. The first enemy shouts for General Jingwei. The silenced 10mm is a bit shit, and things work out a bit differently here in the simulation. We'll be healing through health dispensers, restocking ammo and finding weapons through interaction instead of looting as well. I berserked the second soldier, crossed the bridge as fast as possible, cause the closer I am, the more damage I do. And man, sometimes I really miss Half-Life 2's shotgun. Up the stairs, my ammo runs out. I grab the trench knife and I almost go down. I found some frags, mines, an ammo dispenser, and even a Chinese assault rifle, but really close by is a sniper rifle. The fun begins now, and a couple of soldiers didn't have the range that I did. Plus, I was camping by the health dispenser. Though I did get ambushed. I didn't notice 2 other soldiers that flanked me, but I managed to get out of this pickle alive. This got me to level 3, I wanted speech 50, and I got it. Put the rest of the points into lockpick, and I went for the gun nut perk. That's extra points in both small guns and the repair skills. The Call of Duty simulator continues, I don't care how long it takes. I'll snipe down everything that I can. I got me a stealth boy. Healed, restocked. Kept doing what I do best, and I made it to a cave outpost. We look amazing in VATS, and fucking hell, I got me a ghost rifle. But as it turns out, the ammo dispenser won't be giving me any ammo for it. Though you do find some microfusion cells here and there. I'm also not gonna be able to keep the weapon and bring it to the second mission, but guess who's back?
Goddamn, this place is swarming with Reds. I almost didn't make it.
We headed outside. We've got 3 artillery guns to destroy, and Operation Anchorage isn't the most interesting DLC to narrate, but I'll take the challenge. It's quite action-driven, and a little variation in enemies is mostly their gear. These Chinese soldiers aren't that tanky, though I still need to pay attention cause I'm not either. But Montgomery, I'll just call him Benji. He helps. And I sniped another one on a pipe. It's a detour, but there's something over there that I want to collect. There are 10 intel suitcases with lore, and if you collect them all, you unlock the Covert Ops perk. That is a permanent +3 bonus to lockpick, science, and small guns. The field storage got a very easy lock, and inside we find the first suitcase and the first holotape, Bombardment. As for the terminal, it got a decrypted transcription of our enemy's communications. And as for the audio log, Captain Zachary Lloyd gives us a description of how the Chinese assault was going after nearly 2 hours. They were being shelled non-stop, and they were targeting anything that moved. The entire base is under bombardment, and they are shooting at everything, including their own troops. The captain is baffled at their lack of care for their own men and worries that the entire mountain will just be a graveyard for the enemy to move in later.
God help us. God help America.
Benji is tired of step exercises and catwalks. Seriously, Vats is just aura farming with that helmet. But the Reds do provide them a very needed distraction. He went on ahead, I'm providing cover, and behind another very easy locked door we find the second holotape. Goodbye. And it truly was. Almost goodbye, because a few soldiers came in to ambush us. Well, if they want to take on a sniper rifle point blank, the only thing I can do is thank them. I found the second intel suitcase, got to level 4, rounded several of my skill points, and took the educated perk. As for the holotape, this one is from Private Henry Hodges. He doesn't think he'll make it, and he wants Molly to know the truth. He confirms that the early reports of the invasion weren't BS. He even states that Pearl Harbor looked like an academy exercise in comparison. The amount of warships stunned him. The plan was just to dig on the cliffs and to slow the Chinese advance until the civilians could evacuate safely. That's it. They were not ready for this. They just know that surrender is not an option.
I never told you, but that night in Cleveland, on the Ferris wheel, that was when I fell in love with you. Goodbye, Molly. I'm sorry.
On the nearby building, Benji warns us that the next structure will be the entrance to the artillery base, and also that we need to keep an eye out. I got an ammo dispenser and a sniper rifle. I'm good. But holy hell did it take forever to snipe the fucking turrets. Some of the soldiers were being stubborn campers as well, though they were being very ineffective at shooting back. Predictably, we did it, and we've gone through the cave passage. Inside there was only one soldier, and this circles to near the building past the bridge. On top of that one was a health dispenser, and on the bunker thingy I finally see another type of enemy. Chinese Inferno units. These guys have flamers, and I would rather not get barbecued. So we kept going. The place was swarming with enemies. And while we took care of ourselves on the ground floor, it was a miracle that I survived when I went up the stairs and into the catwalk. I had to hide. My ammo for the rifle hit 0. And as I was praying for Benji to take care of it, I grabbed the ghost rifle and I got lucky. I have no problem admitting it. Had it not been for Benji distracting them, I would have been a goner. And by the time they were ready to press the trigger against me, I was quicker. An easy-to-miss locked door in the corridor leads us to the third intel suitcase, to a stealth boy and to another holotape. Invasion. We're back to hearing from Captain Lloyd. He describes the Reds setting foot on the ground despite the Army's best efforts to prevent the landing. That they are attacking both to secure Anchorage proper and to secure this base. That it's just a matter of time before the American forces are overrun.
We'll die today, but by God, we'll give those communist sons of bitches a black eye they'll never forget.
Going downstairs leads to health and ammo. The first part of the base has been secured. And as we're advancing through the hallway, Benji notices a Chinese Chimera tank. I managed to get a glimpse. But that is just eye candy, and we've got soldiers close by, so I kept moving. I must say, I don't enjoy reloading after every shot, but it's kind of impossible not to appreciate the damage output of the ghost rifle. Past another locked door was the fourth suitcase, and on the terminal we can read about the protocols for the artillery stations. Same artillery stations that we're gonna have to destroy because they're now being used against our own. Everything kept going smoothly. Level 5 had me round up a few more skills. I took the second rank of the gun nut perk, and before I knew it, it was GG. Not for me though. For the ghost rifle. Well, it was nice while it lasted, but I still got my trusty sniper rifle, and obviously that did it. Also, it's not broken or anything, there's just very few ammo for it. Though, it was funny to see the VR idiot crouch with the timing of a lifetime, right before getting shut down. Target practice continued, and here's yet another locked door, but this time, it's just for a holotape. Overrun. Henry is alive, at least at the time of recording. The situation has changed. They could not stop their advance. He doesn't want to die. He swears they did all they could. His friend asked for a magazine, and by the time Henry turned, he was gone. A shell hit him. His blood splattered all over Henry.
Please, let them leave. Let them leave. I just want to come home. I just want to be with you again. I'm hiding now. The Chinese are everywhere. I'm a coward. I'm a coward, I know, but I don't care.
Damn. See? Bethesda's writing can be great when they want to. Anyways, every time a soldier's behind the crates, I feel like I'm losing at whack-a-mole. Though I do end up winning. I'm obviously being thorough on the lore, cause yeah, most of Operation Anchorage is a walk in the park, at least compared to the other DLCs, level 1 or not. Though, the ending, you'll see. And then come the Crimson Dragoons, a couple of Chinese elite soldiers with stealth boys. VATS is out of the question, at least whenever they are invisible. I made use of the couple of microfusion cells that I found before going back to the sniper rifle. Even then, these guys were tanky, but Benji locked in and he took care of it. It also really helped that we fought them both 2-on-1. At no time was it 2-on-2. A critical hit through VATS humiliated guy number 2. We made it outside. Benji points at our own man being shot at by our artillery. Time to blow up the really big guns. 2 soldiers and an Inferno unit later, and I made it to the first cannon. The enemies here are just more of the same. We planted the explosive charge, and you better run. Cause if you don't, you get dragged to hell along with it. Gun number 2 had a Chinese sniper. I love how their suits look, and that's the only interesting thing that happened as we planted the second and third charges. Though I did find some more microfusion cells, which will not help, cause once the quest The Guns of Anchorage completes, we're gonna be teleported, and I don't get to keep my weapons. But I managed to take a good look at the explosion and the aftermath. Benji's hyped, and we are ready to report to General Chase back at the United States Field Headquarters.
Damn fine work you did taking out those guns. Damn fine.
The General explains that while we were mountain climbing, they were just getting their asses kicked. That it's a miracle they're still alive. They even lost his strike team commander, Colonel Patterson.
I didn't call you down here for a pep talk and cigars. You've earned yourself a field promotion, soldier. As of this moment, you're taking over Patterson's strike team.
This begins the third quest of the DLC and the second mission of the simulation, Paving the Way. There are 3 hardened targets between us and the Chinese headquarters. Our task is to strike all 3. Except we've got a total of 6 areas to go through. The 3 are the main ones. There is an enemy camp on the way to the Chimera Depot. That is where we'll have to take down the 2 main fuel tanks. The second target is the listening post, and the Reds have taken over the abandoned mines along the route. General Chase warns us about a possible ambush. Lastly, we've got the pulse field. We've got to cross it and overload it so we can send the T-51s in. He heavily advises us to leave the pulse field for last, which, funny enough, is not optional.
Uncle Sam's invested a lot of money turning you into a killing machine. Time to pay him back. Dismissed.
On a table not too far from some psycho, we find another holotape. I'm okay. Henry's okay. He was found, but it wasn't by the Chinese, it was by Captain Lloyd. They're over at the refinery now. He's resting. They snuck past the Reds and made it to the one place they hadn't taken control over. But Henry got shot, in the shoulder and on the back. Just some souvenirs, as he calls them. The captain had a bunch of meds, and he can hear him and the others out in the yard fighting back. He's hopeful once again. And I'm hearing Lieutenant Morgan crack some jokes to lighten the mood, at least his own. He is in charge of intelligence and logistics. We can say that we've never led a team like this before, and he reassures us by saying that Sergeant Montgomery will be our squad commander, that he knows all of the ins and outs of the team. If we end up needing reinforcements or status reports, all we gotta do is ask Benji. Patterson's terminal will let us assemble and customize the units of our team, and we're gonna have to be somewhat stealthy so the Reds do not detect us. We're gonna be a bit limited, and if we want, let's say, a sentry bot to tag along, that'll count as several men that we will not be able to bring with us. I went to the requisition terminal first, this one's for items, and I misclicked. I wanted to read the description and I ended up selecting the fire team package. It's fine. It's just gonna be a bit of dialogue and I'll have the sniper package ready and waiting for me. And on Patterson's terminal, of course I want the sentry bots. I also chose a grenadier to keep me and Benji company, and that's it. That's the team I chose. And outside by the barracks, there they are. I used an intelligence speech check to try and get Benji to realize that this is just a simulation. But he insists that this is as real as it gets, and well, our character's vitals are tied to the simulation one, so he's not entirely wrong either. But we can be nonchalant about destroying the artillery.
All in a day's work, he says. Yeah, sure. Every day I wake up and single-handedly infiltrate a commie-infested base on a suicide mission.
You kinda do. I told him to wait by the mining town close to the listening post. The quartermaster tells you what to do in case you want to change packages, which I do. I want the sniper rifle one. And then I messed up. I should have saved. This is why I boosted my speech to begin with. He would have given me a ghost rifle. And I noticed, but I decided to live with the consequences of my actions. Microfusion cells were waiting for me as well, but it is what it is. There were no enemies from the HQ until we saw Benji again. I gave the orders to begin the attack, and the sentry bot made a beeline for it. A Chinese sniper got a bitter taste of his own medicine. A launcher and another sniper followed suit, and so did a soldier, another launcher, and a guard dog. This leveled me up. I put all of the points into small guns, and I decided to get the toughness perk. Nearby I found the 5th intel suitcase, and the reds kept coming. Turns out they are taking hostages. That's not what the report said before, but good. That means we can free some of our men. But that could also just have been about the previous mission. And all it took for Benji to report that we have secured the mining town was a couple more regular soldiers. We kept going to the listening post. It's always a bit of a balancing act to go over all the action that happens when there's only so many Outcasts I can come up with for the same types of enemies. And then ammo ran out, but a 10mm took care of the other sniper. I told Benji and the others to attack. Some dragoons were trying to berserk it, and brother, this one was close. Look at my health. A mountain saved my life. Benji's a lunatic, but he's a natural and fuck. There was not a health dispenser readily available. I went down a handful of times before I could heal once again. 10mm still in hand. We eventually took care of the first Crimson Dragoon. A technician didn't stand a chance, and sure enough, a sniper using a stealth boy got me. And there's gonna be more enemies before I'll be able to heal. This guy was being a menace. I would have appreciated if Benji was staring at the invisibitch that was shooting at us instead of at the door, but he's pulling more than his own weight. I should have just gone back to heal, but hey, onwards. I had to use the one psycho I had on me, but we got it. Unfortunately, we still weren't done. I died another handful of times, but between Benji and my frags, I made it to the 6th intel suitcase. Only then was I able to heal. Restock too. The reds ambushed us, so I immediately went after them and made sure they got some 10mm as their last meal. There are no limits at how many times you can use the dispensers, so this bunch wouldn't have stood a chance either way. A technician and 2 dragoons completed the listening post. Though on the outside, 2 snipers followed suit.
That should be the last of them. And the last of the bombing runs on our guys, thanks to you. I'm gonna order our men back to the field HQ. See you there.
We get teleported back to base, and that's where an American war correspondent's taking a picture. I posed too. And I couldn't resist. In my defense, he shot first. But yeah, a quick save for that guy. Next up, the Chinese ice camp on the way to the Chimera Depot. Benji's chili! That animation was a nice touch. I asked for a replacement to our team, we attacked, the sentry made a run for it, I provided cover, and the enemy soldiers didn't stand a chance. A terminal mentioned the spider drone technology we're about to be greeted with. The sniper rifle kept doing its thing. I almost maxed small guns by level 7, chose the Bloody Mess perk, and I took the 7th intel suitcase. At this point, the ice camp is secured, but the sentry went down. And when I saw an option for a missile unit, I should have scrolled some more, cause that is not another sentry bot. Oh well, we'll live. But only if we take care of the spider drones, and they are basically mines with legs. Best to shoot them than to let them do what drones during war times do if they get close. The pulse explosions were cool to see, and I was once again telling Benji to instruct the team to proceed with the attack. The randos were getting annihilated as a "what the fuck is that thing" targeted us. Those are the Chimera tanks. I don't want those things to focus on me, and luckily, this one didn't. It gave me time to snipe it, and so I just kept shooting until it blew up. I managed to heal and restock. Found the last intel suitcase we had to find during this mission. I placed an explosive charge on the first fuel tank, and immediately went after the second one. There were some more enemies, but it turns out that there was a second Chimera tank guarding it as well. I tried to do that thing where you circle an enemy to use their pathing against them, and getting too close knocked me to the ground. A couple of times. And if I fell, its cannon could target me. But I was able to fall back. Benji's holding himself extremely well. I used every single one of my frags. The Chimera tank focused on Benji, and my 10mm helped us finish it off. One last soldier on a watchtower was all that was between us and the second fuel tank. We get teleported back, and this begins the last mission of the simulation. Operation Anchorage. Benji says it's just the two of us now, and so we made it our way to the pulse field, except of course there would be a place to go through before reaching it. This time we are deep in the trenches. We pass through some of our own men. There's no need for suspense regarding the enemy's infantry either. We got this. By the 9th intel suitcase, we managed to free another American soldier. I turned a couple of Nihaos into... I'm gonna butcher the pronunciation, but fuck it. I turned a couple of Nihaos into... Zajans or Zajins. One of them's bound to be right. Means goodbye. See? This can be educational too. More of the same followed suit. I found a terminal with another message we managed to decrypt. The Reds assumed that the pulse field would keep the T-51Bs at bay. Unfortunately for us, they assumed correctly. An asshole threw a missile at my feet, but for some reason I left VATS unharmed. Hey, my ammo is moving. I don't know what happened there. Sure as shit wasn't God mode. I am kinda curious whether that was a VATS or a camera thing, cause I really don't know. But I'll take it. Past the trenches, there were plenty more infantry to go through. We cleared the buildings. But me and Benji also had reinforcements. Along the way, I got to level 8. I maxed the small gun skill, put the rest of the points into sneak, and took the strong back perk. Useless? Yes it is. But I want this character to have the extra space for the rewards we'll be getting after completing the simulation. And then, we got to see first try the pulse field taking 2 of our men in power armor down. We really need to power this thing off so our T-51s can storm the enemy's HQ. I embarrassed a couple soldiers. The turrets took forever, though they didn't really pose much of a threat. And on the building where we can deactivate the pulse field, not only do we get even more eye candy, but we also find the 10th and final intel suitcase of the DLC. Benji reports to HQ. Send in the tin cans, he says. See if they can do it, I can call them tuna cans as well. The T-51Bs are going at it, and all that's left is to deal with General Jingwei. If we take him out, we win Anchorage. A sprint later, and it's time. Our men in power armor and the enemy soldiers will keep each other busy. Their general takes down one of ours, and then he addresses us. Good thing that the VR simulation comes with subtitles, man. Immersion is good, but do not expect me to speak and read that many languages. I know how to swear in like 6. Other than that, I'm pretty useless on 3 of those. And I'm only really good at 2. Anyways, I grabbed the sniper rifle. I noticed that not a single one of our sardine cans will help me in this boss fight. And even though my power armor's a lot better than whatever the fuck this guy is wearing, he is sturdier than the Chimera tanks. Is the DLC easy? Yeah, especially in comparison to the others. But this fight is not. He packs a punch too. I didn't do it first try. And before I knew it, the strategy that was working was doing moonwalks and feeding him 3 weights for brunch. This took a lot longer than I thought it would. And when I went down for the first time, the game bugged out. Nothing was happening. I couldn't move. The general wasn't talking to me and I had to reload. Fortunately, everything worked out. And another Borefest later, I finally did it. Of course, you can beat Operation Anchorage at level 1.
With the general's death, our boys can secure this refinery and be on their way to Anchorage proper. You've helped pave the way for taking the city back from the Reds, soldier. Good work. You've also gone above and beyond the call of duty by recovering important enemy intel and exposing their plans to us. Again, well done, soldier.
This concludes the simulation, but we still gotta go over our quest rewards and a little something else. And upon double checking, it seems that I've missed the last holotape. It's titled Psycho. Dr. Adrian Adami says that both himself and General Chase recognize potential in a chem codenamed Psycho, a chem that Chase's research and development division developed. Though the doctor cannot help but be reminded of the Hippocratic Oath. And as for Lloyd and Henry, well, they didn't make it. But hey, at the end of the day, that's just VR training. Neither them or Benji were real to begin with. Back in the capital wasteland, and Protector McGraw congratulates us. All that's left is to open the door to the armory. He even says that we can take whatever we want. Before that though, I saw a locked door. I've only played Fallout 3's DLCs once or twice before, despite having watched videos on them. Gary 23's corpse being here wasn't on my bingo card. So I looked it up. Turns out that Defender Moral kidnapped the clone to try and get his Pip-Boy. Except if you know anything about Gary's clones, they can be hard to reason to. And Specialist Olin's attempts to get the Pip-Boy failed cause 1. The injury killed Gary 23. And 2, the Pip-Boy was rendered useless upon his death. That explains a lot about Morrell and McGraw. And inside the armory, we get plenty of goodies and plenty of toys, like a ghost rifle, a missile launcher, a Chinese stealth suit, a mini nuke, some of the weapons we used in the simulation, Jingwei Sword 2, but the cream of the crop is the complete suit of winterized T-51B power armor, helmet included. Completing the simulation also gives us the training for it. But that's when Specialist Olin has to shoot back, cause the Outcasts are fighting between themselves. So much for the chain of command, huh? Much like Olin, McGraw's on our side. I know exactly which toy I'm gonna use to finish the idiots with, Sibley included. And I over-recorded a bunch. That's the only reason I didn't upload sooner. That and well, I had some odd jobs to take care first, and I took a few days for myself too. The special project, The Pits, and Mothership Zeta are all ready for me to start scripting. As for Point Lookout, the first hour was bad, man. We're talking Nuka World bad. But I will find a way, and as always, remember to check the channel and the playlists for more videos, and if you want to help me out, just click that like button, leave a comment, or join as a member if that is something you would do. And I'd like to give a big shout out to Steve Whittle, to John Walker, to Glitchtail, to Devon Lowery, to Zoxys, to Dancing Peach, to Carter Moore, and to you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. I hope I'll see you on the next one. And I hope you have a good one. Bye.
Thank you for helping. Sibley would have gotten the best of me if you weren't here. It's a damn shame about Olin, but she died well.